Welcome to the back pew. If somebody wanders around Scripture very long, they quickly discover that God has an overarching theme of reaching out to the edges of life. We're told that God lifts up the lowly and the humble. We're told that God has a concern for the poor and the neglected, the oppressed. God is always showing us grace moving to the edges of life. But that sometimes comes in conflict with how we perhaps live. As God's people, we are called into God's ways. And so this week we're going to explore more of life on the edge and what might it mean for us to be followers of Jesus who's inviting us to the edge, to the edges in our real world today. Now, this coming week we're going to be looking at a lesson from Jesus. Jesus is invited to a banquet, and he goes in and he watches as everyone is choosing their seat. Now, it's a scene that could pretty much be written today. You know how it goes. People come in and they're looking around at who is there, and they're looking around at where they want to be seated. The best seat is the one that you really want. Now, that can be for various reasons. It might be that's the best seat because it's going to be around people you really like to talk to. Or it's the best seat because there's some connections you're trying to make and there's some power stuff going on. You know how societal positioning happens. Or it's the seat not next to that person you really don't like talking to. We all know how that goes. So Jesus is watching, and he encourages us, don't assume the best seat. Take a lower seat and wait to be asked. Jesus really trying to get us to see about having a humble heart in who we are. And then Jesus does something really interesting. He tells another twist on this when he says, when you give a banquet, don't invite the people who can reciprocate. In other words, don't invite people who are going to invite you over to their house then. Rather, go out and invite the people in who don't have that opportunity. What we start to see is Jesus showing us that God's life on the edge with us is where we are welcoming in people who are different than us, people from different life circumstances, life positions, that this is the beginning of a glorious banquet, and that we're invited to live life in that way now. Now, that's not always comfortable for us. Certainly, if we look around, we see that we do like to kind of hang out with people that look like us, act like us, think like us. But God's not hung up on that. God rather sees in the richness of diversity the best of possibilities. And God calls us in a life on the edge to be open to what that might look like. And that our lives are richer and better because of it. And here's the key: freed by Christ through his death and resurrection, we are set free to live life on the edge and discover what God is up to in the lives around us and in the lives that we're yet encountering. Life on the edge can be exciting. And yeah, it can be uncomfortable. So we're going to take a look at this week, trying to figure out what this means and what it means in real life. What it means in our life, in our neighborhoods and our communities. Who is it that's on the edge, and where is that edge God is calling us to? I hope to see you either Saturday or Sunday at First Lutheran Church. We're going to have a wonderful celebration. Remember, Sunday is the ministry fair. It's also Rally Sunday. So we've got a lot of exciting things taking place. There'll be a meal. There's professional entertainment. I also hear we're having a Pillar of the Church announcement. I hope that you'll join us for worship this week. If this back pew has been meaningful to you, I hope that you will share it by Facebook, by email, or by referring people to the website. I do pray you have a blessed rest of your week.